G'day everybody, and welcome back to another Rosh Reviews, where behind us we have got the all-new 2025 Hyundai i30N, and facelifted it is got. I did not expect Hyundai to come out with this thing again, and I am so happy that they did, because this thing, in hatch form especially, it is absolutely one of my favorite hot hatches money can buy right now. And this thing, there are a few minor upgrades. Not a whole lot has changed, but again, this thing was so damn good already. You don't need to change the formula too much. But today in this video, we are going to go for a drive in the all-new facelifted Hyundai i30N. We're going to see, is it still as good as it was the last time? And should you buy one? Because unfortunately, this one might be the last. And let's hope not. But let's get in this thing, let's fire it up, and of course, let's hear how good the i30N still sounds. Alright guys, so in the new facelifted i30N, and if you've been in one of these before, look, it's going to be a pretty familiar place because they haven't really changed a huge amount with this hatch. It is a sticker kit, you know, we've got a revised sort of front bumper, some red accents around the car. You know, the wheels, they're basically the exact same as the last model, but they've just given them this sort of matte finish. Everything on this car, it is the same. You know, it's minor things, digital cluster, matte finish on the wheels, red accents. That's it. So it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, and it makes 206 kilowatts and 392 Newton meters. So 8-speed DCT, or you can still get it in the 6-speed manual. Guys, the 8-speed, it is phenomenal. Like, I feel like if you're gonna just track the car, and if you're buying it just because it's you know, gonna be one of the last maybe really good petrol hot hatches, get it in a manual. But if you're gonna buy this thing to actually drive, use as sort of a fun daily, I would go for the DCT, honestly, because it's fantastic. Like, I don't know, 8-speed, it's the right amount of gears. It's punchy. This thing is fun to sort of take one hand off and really flat foot it, because it's torque steery. This thing will torque steer, and hey, if you don't like torque steer, maybe this isn't the car for you, because it does. It will sort of pull all sorts of whichever way it's going. And when you turn traction control completely off, well, then you're really just at the mercy of what this thing's gonna do. But for me personally, I really enjoy cars like that. You know, again, you have adaptive suspension. You can put this thing into custom drive modes if you like. I like to run it with the engine in full N mode, the steering in sport mode, and suspension in the softest setting, because when you put this suspension in N mode, it is seriously, there's no body roll happening. This thing is dialed to the ground. It does become quite jarry and quite bumpy on these Victorian roads, so for me, I just like to run it in this custom setting. And just the noise, man. Like from a factory car, 2-liter turbo. It's so good. And I know it's just a tune and they're just putting some extra fuel into the exhaust and it's burning off, but I don't care. I just think it's fun. And the fact that this thing will still torque steer all around, it'll light the front end up, it is just one of those cars that absolutely put Hyundai on the map. The noise, I never get tired of it. And I, for one, whenever I loan out one of these cars, it is always living in the N mode. I don't care about fuel consumption. When you drive this thing in N mode and you're ripping it, don't expect it to be like an economy 4-cylinder, because it will drink petrol, legitimately will. But if you want to have it in, you know, its eco mode and drive it like a Nana, you can. But then what was the point of buying this thing? Oh, this thing is good. It just loves it on these mountain roads, guys. Punchy turbo. Steering is nice and weighty. And that exhaust. Some people don't like it, but hey, as long as it's burning petrol and making noise, I'm happy. Oh, dude. See, this is just something you can't get this smile, this natural excitement from an electric car. You just can't. And so many new cars nowadays, you know, despite the crazy price tags, they just don't give you this out the bag. This thing, it's just done so well. Hyundai absolutely nailed these things. And the fact that, you know, look, this facelift, it's a sticker kit, let's be honest, but who cares when it goes this damn good? Oh my God. Let's just be grateful that it's still in production and we still have the opportunity to buy this thing, because, man, it is so much fun. And dude, this is the little car that can, legitimately. Yeah, just Hyundai, the N division. Every time I'm in one of their cars, I always have to say it and just give massive credit to them, because they went all out. They really did the research. They really did the development properly. And they built a car that really is one of the best for the money I've ever experienced, in terms of just straight out of the bag. No modifications needed. And that, again, is just so rare. So, yeah, wow. You know, look, they really knew who they were targeting with this car, and they knew the assignment. Oh, yeah. Now, can you live with this thing day to day? Look, I've been driving it through Melbourne. You know, the roads here aren't the greatest. Stop and go traffic, but you can really live with this thing. And that's why I think if you're using this as a daily, go for the DCT, because it is fantastic. And, you know, when you got to do the clutch work through the city, it really does get tiresome in bumper to bumper traffic. So unless it's sort of my fun weekend hot hatch, I probably would go for the DCT. And it's fantastic, guys. It really is so good. I can't stress that enough. But, you know, it is a little bit firm. Again, it's a hot hatch, it's sporty, but when it is in its normal suspension settings, you can live with this thing. It's not overly harsh. It is still fairly comfortable, in my opinion. And look, honestly, the noise when you're not in N mode, it isn't really a factor. So if you're worried that this thing is gonna be so noisy all the time, it really isn't. It can be a little bit droney when you first start this car up in the morning and it's cold, even without it being in N mode, but it's not going to bang and carry on unless you put it into the N mode. And this thing, again, it's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you know, you've got your AC controls here, cruise control. It's it has all the creatures of comfort that you would want. And I just really, again, for the kind of vehicle this is, they nailed it. And for hot hatch lovers, so many of the fun hot hatches, they're all gone. They're all dead. This, probably the best one currently you can buy, and one of the last ones, really. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Look, you know, you got the Civic Type R, which I think is still in production, but you're talking 75 grand, you know, well and truly a lot more money than this. The Focus, they're done. They're not doing Focuses anymore. Even the Fiestas are done. It's just such a sad world we live in now, isn't it? Being a petrol lover, you know, a car nut, we really have been shafted here with this whole woke EV nonsense. Guys, look, again, if you've been enjoying this content, make sure you please hit that big red subscribe button, leave a comment, like the video. It really does help us out. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers, and it really would mean a lot if you hit that follow button. All right, 0 to 100, powered by C-Tech. We're gonna find out. We've got it in drive. We're gonna reset the draggy. Hard on the brake, hard on the accelerator. Hey, it puts it down pretty well, I gotta say. It's unfortunately very hard for me at the moment to find a nice flat straight road, but that is pretty dang flat. So let's have a look. Wow, guys, right there we just did a 5.3, and this thing's got more in it. Definitely has more in it, because we're not even starting to spin the wheels, which usually this thing does. So you can go into the launch control settings and you can adjust where the RPM is. I was doing it at 3,500 and it was sort of just launching quite nicely. So, hey, 5.3 is quick. That's impressive. Yeah, wow. I reckon you could get this thing to about 5 seconds flat, because man, it goes. This thing, it's impressive. Now guys, it's time for the WiperTech wiper test. So let's see what the new I30N facelifted wipers go like. Let's pull back on the stock. Wow, very strong jets in this thing. And hey, I gotta say though, really good spread, really good wipe on it. And yeah, wow, impressive. That's a WiperTech wiper pass from the I30N. And guys, if you want the best wipers for your car, use my code. It's Ross15 off. Link is in the description below. They're WiperTech wipers, and you're gonna get 15% off and free express shipping. So huge thanks to them. Yeah, I30N, it's got a good wipe. So 50 grand for this thing now, and I know it's gone up nearly $4,000. So it is gone up quite a bit, but I'm just happy that it's here. I know with inflation and the way this crazy world's going, I call it clown world, I'm surprised it's only up 3,800 bucks, to be honest. But if you're going to buy one of these things, you know, just remember when you factor in all the on-roads, and especially if you go for the premium one and you get the DCT and the sunroof, you know, you're talking a car that's going to be, by the time it's on the road, well and truly into the $60,000 range. So it's a lot of money, but I do have to say, for a new car, there isn't many cars that can compete with this in terms of just straight out of the bag fun. And honestly, if you're in the premium version, you could, with a few minor luxuries, put a different badge on this car and no one would be the wiser, really. You know, chuck an Audi badge on this thing, a BMW badge, a Mercedes badge. It's a well-built, tight car. Everything, it does feel pretty tight. Like, there's a few plastics in here. Obviously it's a Hyundai, but I have to say it feels very solid. And when you're driving in N mode, this thing is serious, guys. Like, take it, go for a test drive. If you don't trust me, go for a test drive, because you won't even believe it. Your mouth will be, your jaw will be on the floor, guys. Like, these absolutely rip. So at the end of the day, what do we think about the new facelifted I30N? Did they do enough with this? Could they have done more? Or again, are we just happy that this is still got a petrol turbo engine platform and it's in production, available to buy? I am honestly one of those guys who, I'm just happy this thing is still for sale. It's still being made. I love this platform. I love this engine. And in the hatch, personally, it's my favorite. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, consider subscribing, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.